Ben Dunn, he wants to look like a bodybuilder. He doesn't expect to look like Chris Bumstead. He just wants to fit in as a bodybuilder. I just want to look pretty good. Coach Greg, and today I'm going to be going over some of the controversy between Chris Bumstead's first cycle and Ben Dunn's first cycle. I'm going to compare the two cycles, tell you which one was better, which one's smarter, who did it better, Chris Bumstead or Ben Dunn. Now, Derek from Plates for Dates, he did a video on both of these guys' first cycles. So I went and read some of the comments under Ben Dunn's video and compared them to some of the comments on Chris Bumstead's video. I noticed a huge disparity between the types of comments each person was getting. The general consensus is that Ben Dunn, he's way too young to be on PDs, way too young, not enough muscle. Why would he take steroids? He's $150 soaking wet. He's skinny, he doesn't have a good body, so why would he take PDs? And on the other hand, Chris Bumstead, the general consensus is, I don't believe he took only that much. He must have took more. He probably took way more. I don't believe it. Look at his body. Now listen, Chris Bumstead literally started his steroid cycle a year younger than Ben Dunn. Ben Dunn literally trained longer than Chris Bumstead. No one's going to argue with me. Chris Bumstead's genetics are way, way better than Ben Dunn. Frankly, Ben Dunn could take as many PDs as he wants for the rest of his life and never even come close to the body of Chris Bumstead as a natural athlete. Sorry, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. What you want to hear is if you take all the PDs, you can get a freakishly amazing body because PDs do that. They help, of course, but they don't help as much as you think. So here's my point. You can debate me all you like. It doesn't matter what...
It doesn't matter!
Why is it okay or more socially accepted for Chris Bumstead to take PDs, but not for Ben Dunn, considering Ben Dunn's a year older, more experience, just has shitty genetics? In comparison to Chris, not necessarily shitty genetics, just compared to Chris, we all do, even me. So here's my opinion, and it's just my own opinion, it's no one else's. I'm not a doctor, I'm not telling you what to do or not do. To me personally, it makes way more sense for Ben Dunn to do PDs, and I don't suggest he does them. I'm just saying it makes more sense that Ben Dunn would use them than Chris Bumstead. You're thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. Chris Bumstead's the Mr. Olympia. That's exactly why. Chris Bumstead could have been natural, taken nothing, and still did amazing in a bodybuilding show. Ben Dunn wants to do a bodybuilding show, and look at him right now. He's hoping that with the help of PDs, he'll look pretty good. Everyone wants to look better than they are. Everyone wants to be accepted by other people. Everyone wants other people to say, hey, you look good. It makes you feel good. Chris Bumstead, he could have never touched a weight in his life, stayed natural, and he still looked good. Have you seen Chris Bumstead? So you saw Chris Bumstead natural. You saw what he looked like. Why would somebody that looks that amazing need to take PDs when he already looks that amazing at the age of 19? He could have stayed natural and competed and kept improving. Do you think he was at his genetic limit at 19? Does anyone think Chris was peaked out at 19, couldn't have gotten any better, had to take PDs to improve? No. So what should he have done? If it was me, if I was him in his shoes, what would I do? And I'm not in his shoes, and I'm just saying an opinion, and take my opinion with 6 grams of salt, whatever. I'm just saying an opinion. Don't hate me if you don't agree. I think Chris Bumstead should have stayed natural. Look at him natural, and trained harder than last time, took more years, competed. Does anyone doubt me that Chris would have got his pro card natural? You think you can't turn pro as a natural athlete? Ever heard of Quentin Beast Mode? He turned professional natural, then he took PDs, and he put on like 50 pounds. Chris Bumstead could have took nothing, turned pro, and I think he could be still natural at this point and be in the Olympia as a black natural athlete. That's right, you know he's a black natural athlete. Have you seen him? In any case, the best thing is to never take PDs, ever, never, unless your doctor tells you need to because it's something for your health. For some reason, people think only big, massive bodybuilders take PEDs, but I keep telling people all the time. The majority of people that take PEDs, you can't tell. They don't look jacked, they don't look amazing. And you're thinking, that doesn't make sense. If they took all these PEDs, they would look jacked and amazing. But no, they don't actually work that well. People that take PEDs, the majority of them just want to look okay. They want to take their shirts off at the beach or undress in front of their circle friend and say, hey, you look pretty good. I think you look good. That's all people want. The majority of people taking PEDs are not going like this on a stage and saying, look at me in my little teensy-weeny bikini. Ben Dunn, he wants to look like a bodybuilder. He doesn't expect to look like Chris Bumstead. He just wants to fit in as a bodybuilder. I just want to look pretty good. When people look at my physique when I'm natural, they're like, why did you ever take PEDs? Look at how you looked. Well, I wanted to get a friggin' pro card and I couldn't gain any more muscle. I peaked out. I tapped out. 42 shows natural first. So I didn't feel like I needed them. I was winning shows natural. So why would I bother taking PEDs? I looked great, felt great, had confidence, was winning the shows natural. Chris Bumstead, clearly better looking than me, better genetics, better body. Why would he need to take PEDs? Why? Maybe, who knows, maybe he could have even got to the physique he has now in the future had he stayed natural. We don't know because guess what? Most people take PEDs way too early. They don't know what their genetic limit actually is. So the majority of the massive physiques you see, they've been taking PEDs for years. Not many people wait until they're 30 years old, for example, to take PEDs. Most are starting so young, teenagers, early 20s. It's very common these people are taking PEDs. Steroid arms, you know, PEDs. They're taking stuff. No one wants to wait for it. People want it now, especially the millennials. They want instant gratification. I want it right now. I don't want to wait. Back in the day, we didn't even have cell phones. We didn't have all this computers and stuff. I'm old. You had to learn to entertain yourself. You had patience. Now, no one has patience. If it's not loaded in 5 seconds, I'm not watching it. It's such a right now mentality. So Derek went over cycle and said, well, it's not too aggressive. It's reasonable. It's like not bad, but the Anavar doesn't need that. And GWL, he probably shouldn't take that. It might give him cancer, and it's not really going to help your HDL that much. I don't think he would have given the exact same type of analysis if Ben Dunn looked like Chris Bumstead. If Ben Dunn had 20-inch arms and said, I'm going to do 400 milligrams of testosterone a week, that's not a lot at all. Ben Dunn said he was going to do 400 milligrams of test a week. Is that a lot? No, not for a real cycle. It's a very low cycle. It's way more than HRT and more than he needs to grow. But let's face it, once you jump into using actual steroids, you're not looking for 5 pounds of muscle. You're looking for major, significant, mind-blowing transformations. That's what people are looking for. So when I see 400 milligrams of test, I'm like, that's very reasonable for a first cycle. That's not blowing it. That's not going crazy. Because trust me, a lot of people are using test and trend everything on their first cycle. Lots at double and triple these doses. So Ben then says, well, 5 to 6 weeks later, I'll add in like 10 milligrams Anavar. Maybe every 2 weeks, I'll up the dose by 10 milligrams. And I'll cap it out at 40 to 50 milligrams. That is not a massively high cycle. Chris Bumstead, let's compare. And remember, Chris is a year younger. And remember, Ben wants to compete. Chris wanted to compete. They both had the same intentions. Both want to compete. Chris could have won easily. He looked like a bodybuilder with nothing. Ben Dunn doesn't really look like a bodybuilder. It doesn't look bad. He just doesn't look like a bodybuilder. Chris Bumstead cycle, 125 milligrams every other day. That equals to 437.5 milligrams a week. So Chris saw more tests than Ben Dunn. Chris Bumstead also started the cycle with 40 milligrams of Anavar and then added the 437.5 milligrams of test a week at the 4th week for 8 weeks to lead up to the show. And looked friggin' incredible. You've all seen the pictures. It's astounding. That's why people hardly believe that's what he took. Chris also used an AI like Arimidex and clenbuterol to burn fat. Ben Dunn also going to use an AI if he needs one, and taking 10 milligrams, so a very low dose of GW or cardarine to help with his lipid profile, which maybe it'll help him a little bit on the HDL. It'll probably help him a little bit with endurance, but really, does he need it? No, it doesn't really need it, but whatever. Did Chris Bumstead need Clen? No, he didn't need anything. So technically, both people could do with nothing. But let's face it, once you accept you're doing a cycle, you have to talk about doing a cycle. I can sit here and say, neither should ever do anything. Yeah, of course, we know that. Neither should have used steroids. Neither should have taken PDs. We know that. They're both too young. And how young is too young? Any age is too young. Nobody should ever do it unless the doctor tells them. I'm not encouraging drug use here. But isn't it interesting that Chris Bumstead's cycle is stronger than Ben Dunn's cycle? Chris is a year younger than Ben Dunn. And people are saying, oh, Ben Dunn's too young. But I don't see everyone saying Chris Bumstead's too young. I find that to be slightly hypocritical, considering that Chris Bumstead's literally a year younger than Ben and has a much better physique and clearly did not need the PEDs. Way too young. Chris was way too young. So maybe this video is Chris Bumstead was too young to take PEDs, didn't need it. But what I see is, well, he looks so good and so it's okay. It's normal. It's accepted. It's okay. It's normal because he's a big time bodybuilder. And I like Chris, so I'm not shitting on him for his decisions. He made a decision, whatever. I make decisions. We all make decisions. I'm just saying, my opinion is he clearly didn't need it because he's so genetically gifted. You can argue, well, because he's so genetically gifted, he should pee on PDs younger. And I argue the exact opposite. I hope you understand. The better your genetics, the less PDs you need. And Chris Bumstead right now is on a much lower cycle than probably 99% of IFBB pro bodybuilders. Why? Because he's in classic physique and he doesn't need as much muscle as if he was in the men's open. If there was no such thing as classic physique, my opinion, just an opinion, is Chris probably would have to push the envelope and take more drugs than last time to try to get bigger, to try to fit in the men's open category. And I think he would do amazingly well. I think he would be a top 10 Olympia competitor in men's open. You just need to get more size and he would do amazing. But think of it, the more drugs you take, the less healthy that is. So my advice is always take the least dose possible to make you happy. If that dose is Azido, as in your natural, that is obviously the best choice. If you do decide to do something, obviously get blood work, check with your doctor, and be safe. But the lower dose you do, the safer you are. So please, in the comment section, let me know what you think. Compare Chris Bumstead's cycle to Ben Dunn's. The fact that Ben Dunn's a year older, was he too young? Was Chris too young? Were they both too young? Who was more right to do it than the other? Does it make more sense for Ben Dunn to do a cycle because he's less jacked than Chris? Or does it make more sense for Chris to do it because he's so jacked? My opinion, you know it by now. I think that people want to look normal and they want to fit in. And the majority of people that are taking PDs and steroids do not look jacked. They don't look like me. They're not bodybuilders. They're normal, regular folk like your friends. And you don't know by looking that they're not natural because they just want to look a little bit better than they are. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. Blue pin up 2 videos. Watch one of those. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, buy my freaking cookbook, and stay natural. And until next time, I am out.